Hey, I'm Malachi, and I'm the president here at Amazing Life. At the beginning of this year, Amazing Life stepped in to carry on the long-standing and excellent legacy of Orange, its strategy, its partners, and its conference. Next year marks a milestone in that story. It's the 30th anniversary of a movement that aligns the church and the family, equips ministries with strategic curriculum, resources, and training, and fuels leaders who collectively impact over 1 million kids and teens each year. For us, and for many of you, the Orange Conference has been where vision is renewed, teams are aligned, leaders are equipped, and friendships that sustain ministry are formed. When we began planning next year's gathering, we didn't assume we knew what should come next or what you needed most. So we asked. Over the past several months, we visited with pastors, next-gen leaders, volunteers, and kids and student ministry leaders. We listened to church plants of small churches, as well as multi-site churches in major cities and networks around the world. In every room, we asked the same question: what do you want from conference? And what do you need most to disciple the next generation well? Well, out of that listening came a lot of thoughtful, practical suggestions, like more space for worship and prayer, more time to connect with peers, clearer Monday through Saturday takeaways, and better ways for teams to learn together. And again, you told us why this conference matters. It's where your teams catch vision, find community, and leave with tools that you can use the very next week. We heard you, and we agree. So let me say this as clearly as I can. The conference isn't going anywhere. In fact, we're doubling down. But one suggestion rose to the top repeatedly. We need to change the name. Not because the purpose should change or the gathering should end, but because after 3 decades, it deserves a fresh start. One that makes room for what God is doing now and where he's leading next. And we agree. But rather than simply add a new label, we've been careful to choose a name that reflects who we are, who we serve, and why we exist. Our mission. And because our heart is to serve the whole church, every size, every setting, every corner of the world, we wanted a name that carries that calling. And we've settled on that name. But before we share it, we want to tell you more about those 3 things: the who we are, who we serve, and why we exist, and how this gathering will equip your church all year long. For years, Orange was the name many associated with our company and our curriculum. As we move forward, it's time to be clear. Orange is no longer who we are. It's what we do. We're Amazing Life. That's more than a new label. It's a new chapter. And we're not leaving behind what made Orange so powerful. When I say Orange is what we do, I'm talking about the Orange strategy, the heart of the home, combining with the light of the church to produce a bigger impact than any one of them could do separately. That will continue to beat at the center of everything we create. It's simply no longer limited to curriculum and events. Now it applies to everything we do: our content, our software, our tools, and our thought leadership. Here's our mission. We exist to equip churches with gospel-centered content and tools they need to disciple effectively and inspire lasting impact. The church isn't a building, it's God's people, a community of believers called to serve God's purpose in the world. As A.W. Tozer reminds us, the church is not a building, but a body of believers with a specific purpose to fulfill God's mission on earth. The local church is God's vehicle and tool to advance the gospel. Billy Graham said it this way: the church is God's instrument for expressing his love and grace to the world. It's where the lost are found, the broken are healed, and the weary find rest. It's where people are equipped. Because that's true, our heart is to serve the entire church, not just one size, style, or zip code. We are committed to providing world-class tools and resources to every church, regardless of size or location. We believe the local church is where people are taught, where they're discipled and sent. It's where families find community, students discover calling, and our role is to resource that mission with the very best we can offer for every church, every place, and every size. That's why excellence matters to us. Biblically sound content that's also compelling and creative. The next generation swims in content all week long. The church should have resources that meet them where they are and point them to Jesus with clarity, beauty, and joy. We're building for the entire next generation, birth through high school. and for the entire church, from new church plants to multi-site churches and global networks. We're bringing it all together in one place we call Amazing Plus. It's curriculum, music, planning tools, a parent app, and more. Unified so pastors spend less time juggling and more time pastoring. For us, software serves content, and content serves the gospel. One without the other is just simply incomplete. Technology should make ministry easier, not heavier. It should help churches engage families Monday through Saturday, not just Sunday. So where does the conference fit in? The conference is where we gather to renew vision, learn from one another, and encounter God together. It's where volunteers become leaders and leaders become discipling pastors. It's where new ideas are born and where we remember we're not alone. The conference must reflect this bigger vision. That's why we're changing its name for 2026. Not to change the purpose, but to give it the fresh start you asked for and to clearly reflect who we are and who we serve and why we exist. Same heart, bigger horizon. Now, we know change can raise questions and sometimes disagreements. We've had those conversations too. They haven't shaken our confidence. In fact, they've strengthened it. We believe what's ahead will be better, stronger, and more valuable for the church. And our commitment is simple: make the church the hero. It isn't about names Orange or Amazing Life or any individual's name. What matters is that the people encounter the gospel through the local church. We're in this together. In light of all this, we have some exciting announcements coming in the next weeks and months. We'll share more about the story behind the new identity, the themes shaping our next gathering, and how this change will serve you and your teams. And yes, we'll reveal the new name soon. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. What discipleship challenges are you facing right now? What would make ministry easier for you and your team? What do you want out of the conference? Your insight shapes what we build, what we teach, what we sing, and ultimately what we ship. We're honored to run alongside you, to equip you with gospel-centered tools and tools you can use to shape the next generation for Jesus.